Yeah, no, we look at logistics very much on a regional basis. It's a regional business. There's lots of elements that will determine the success of a location. Things like availability of labor. There might be tax issues or incentives. There might be availability of land that has an influence, and so on. Road infrastructure. And so there's lots of different aspects that come into play when looking at locations, and we definitely look at it on a regional basis. You will also see strong differences in terms of unemployment, for instance, of GDP growth on regional basis, and it all has to be taken into account. Just to give you one example, if you look at Poland, for instance, in the east of Poland you have an unemployment rate of about 14%. If you go to cities like Wrocław, Poznan, you've got 3% unemployment. So that sort of gives you some sense of the regional differences within the country.
We still love airports, seaports, and hubs which cannot be doubled. That's very important for us. And tenants come, tenants go, but location will stay. So it's very hard to double a port of Amsterdam or Rotterdam, and you can nothing make fault there, I think.
Infrastructure hubs are clearly important and large demographic populations. The difficulty is in quite a lot of those locations is either the land structure that some of the sites are held on. I mean, in terms of title, being a leasehold structure around major infrastructure, ports and airports, and also availability of sites, land, buildings, just getting access. And there is a lot of capital waiting to be invested in those kind of areas. And you can wait a very, very long time before you can get your money into those markets in a meaningful way. So in actual fact, quite a lot of our business on the agency side is focused around it is not focused on those markets. It's focused on other maybe non-core markets or core plus markets. Peripheral areas in the Ile-de-France, for example, we quite like at the moment, albeit there is a little bit of risk in there. And we think that market, for example, is starting to look relatively cheap compared to markets in Germany, increasingly the Netherlands, if some of our pricing on current portfolios goes through, and also Poland.
I think if it's speculative, that's probably easier to answer, because I think that's certain cities in Germany. I think, say, Slovakia, Czech, probably not Poland. There's too much land availability in Poland to do spec. You don't need to do it there. So they would be my sort of three key areas.
I'll take a slightly different tack with, let's say, a slightly more opportunistic hat. I'd certainly be interested in Italy and also Spain, with the ability for some of the logistics assets with longer lease profiles to run out the term of perhaps some of the economic weakness that we're bound to see for coming years. But I kind of get the feeling that looking back 10 years from now, with a long leased, high quality grade A kit at the right price, that's probably an interesting bet, personally. Otherwise, all the other comments were perfectly sensible, of course, including James's.